So we continue with the 2D maze game with the device orientation. In the previous video we were working with the boot.js, and pretty much okay, so this is the final product. So as we already saw, we are gonna control it with the keyboards, and this is how you play it. You have the congratulations, the completed, this is the alert that is gonna show you, and as long as you keep moving forward, you're gonna pass through the levels. So right now I'm in level 2, you're gonna go through level 3 and so forth up to level 5. So, and this is the way you do it. So let's keep moving. So right now we're gonna see the Preloader.js. Okay, so in the previous video we only talk about the boot.js. So this is the function for the boot.js, and these all the other JavaScript files inside of our folder. This is from another folder that I have, but we're gonna close this one. I'm gonna close okay, I'm gonna close this one. Okay, so congratulations, level 3 complete. Okay, let's close this one as well, and I'm gonna go into my folder, cyber app. I'm gonna right click, open in terminal, code space that, so I can open it, and this is the folder that we're working with. Okay, so we have, for example, we have all these JavaScript files, but they are empty, so we ended up with the boot.js. Now we're gonna go working with the preloader. Okay, so this is the phaser. We have this is all the code. If you wanna check it out, it's also here in the GitHub repository. Okay, and let's go into the index.html file, and right now we don't have pretty much nothing yet, so right now it's just black here. Okay, so Preloader.js, the preloader state takes care of loading all the assets. So we're gonna be typing all this code. So again, we're gonna have, it's gonna be something similar to the boot.js. So we're gonna go into the preloader, and we're gonna have in the bold that it's gonna be bold that preloaded, and we are gonna set it to a function, and we're gonna pass in the game. So let me see, we're gonna have bold that preloader. So I'm gonna do that preloader like that. We're gonna have the bold that preloaded, and we are gonna set it to this function. We're gonna open parentheses and curly braces, and we're gonna pass in the game. Okay, so we have that, and when you type in bold, the first letter has to be capitalized. So we have bold that preloader, we are setting it to the function game, and we're gonna end this statement with a semicolon. Okay, so we are that up to this point. Then we're gonna have the bold that preloaded that prototype, and we're gonna set it to this array. So I mean to the subject. Okay, so we are gonna have this bold that preloader that, let me see, prototype. So preloader that prototype. Okay, prototype. Okay, so we're using this method, and we are gonna set it to pretty much the subject. So we have that, and here we're gonna have in the subject, we're gonna have this function that is gonna be the preload. So we're gonna have a parentheses, and we're gonna open curly braces, and inside of the curly braces we are gonna have this keyword this, and we're gonna use the preload. Okay, so we're gonna use the preload VG, and the first the B has to be capitalized, uppercase letter. So we have that so far. So there's that preload VG, and we are gonna set it to this that add that sprite. So there's that add that sprite. So we have that. Okay, so let me see, and now we're gonna open parentheses, and inside of the parentheses we are gonna have in the bold. Okay, so we're gonna have in the bold that underscore width like that. So bold that underscore width, that is gonna be minus 297, and we're gonna multiply it. Okay, we're gonna multiply the subtraction by 0.5, and we separate this with a comma, and we're gonna have something similar. We're gonna have the bool, okay, uppercase letters, so bool that underscore, and it's gonna be height, and it's gonna be minus 145, okay, and here we're just gonna multiply by 0.5, so we separate with a comma. Okay, so in this parentheses we have so far as two parameters, so we're gonna have a third parameter that's gonna be a string, and we're gonna pass in just the preloader, so it's gonna be the preloader bg, like that. Okay, so preloader bg, and we're gonna separate it with a comma, and then we're gonna separate it here. We're gonna put a semicolon at the end of this parentheses, okay. Okay, so pretty much we have ended with this first that preload bg. Okay, so we're gonna have something similar for the preload that bar, and we can pretty much just copy and paste this one. So we're gonna change it, obviously, so it's gonna be, okay, so we're gonna deal with the preload bar. It's gonna be preload, and this time it's gonna be bar. Okay, let me see. So we have that preload bar, and we're setting it to that add that sprite, and we have the bold that width, and it's gonna be minus 158, so it's gonna be that, and the subtraction is gonna be multiplied by 0.5. Then we have the bold, let me see, bold that, okay, so yeah, we have the bold that height, and it's gonna be minus, okay, so this one has to be like that, and it's gonna be minus 50. Okay, so it's gonna be minus 50, but here this one has just to be bold. Let me see, yeah, well, the first letter has to be capitalized, so we have that, so bold. Let's change this one as well, bold, and then this one. Okay, so we have that so far. Okay, so it's gonna be the bold that height minus 50 multiplied, okay, the subtraction multiplied by 0.5. Then we have the preloader bar, so okay, so we're changing that as well. And okay, so semicolon at the end of this parentheses. Okay, now we have with these two, that preload bar and that preload bg. Now we're gonna have three, this keyword that load, so it's gonna be set preload sprite image and sprite sheet. Okay, and let me see, okay, so let's close this one, and now we're gonna, okay, so if I go here into the, let me see, if I go here into the cyber, or if I go into images, okay, so okay, it's not in images, but let's go into the icons. As you can see, those are, this is similar to a sprite, because this is pretty much starting as a very small one, but if I increment it, as you can see, it looks like it's moving in real time, but I'm just pretty much having the same image but just incremented it. So this is a sprite. Okay, so now we're gonna have the keyword that load, that load, and we're gonna have set preload sprite, so it's gonna be set preload sprite, like that. Okay, so we have this set preload sprite, and we're gonna pass in the keyword this, and the method is gonna be the preload bar. It's gonna be the preload bar. So we have two, the preload bar and the preload bg. We're gonna use that one, the preload bar, semicolon at the end. Okay, so we have that for the set preload sprite. We're gonna have something similar, and it's gonna be for the that load that image. Let me see. Okay, so there's that load image, and we are gonna pass in first is gonna be the bold, and as a second parameter is gonna be inside of the image folder, and it's gonna be in the, okay, if you close this one, it's gonna be, well, it's just gonna be bold.png, so it's gonna be bold.png like that. And let's close the image folder as well as the audio folder, and let's double check that is right. So we passing this that load that image, and we passing bold as well as image slash bold.png. okay, so end there with a semicolon, and finally we're gonna have the this that load. Let me see if that's, yeah, this that load, and it's gonna be the sprite sheet that, okay, that is, okay, so it's gonna be a sprite sheet. And here we're gonna have in the button start, so it's gonna be button start. So let me see, button start. And okay, so it's gonna be inside of the, let me see, it's gonna be inside of the image, so it's gonna be inside of the image folder, and it's gonna be, okay, well, inside of the image folder, and it's gonna be in the button start. So let me see, it's gonna be this one, so it's gonna be this one. Okay, so it's gonna be the button dash start. Okay, so we can close the image. Let me see, just double check this at lowest sprite sheet, button start, image, button start slash button hyphen start dot png. okay, that png, so we need to put the extension, and finally we're gonna pass in 146 is gonna be for the width, and it's gonna be this parameter is gonna be 51 for the height, so we can have that. Okay, so finally we are gonna use the keyword this, but it's gonna be for the audio. Okay, semicolon at the end, and okay, semicolon at the end, and then it's this that load that audio. Okay, and okay, so this that load audio, and we are gonna pass in pretty much audio. We're gonna put audio dash bounce like this, audio bounce. Okay, and we're gonna separate it with a comma, and our second parameter is gonna be, okay, we're gonna have this array, so we open brackets, and we are gonna have pretty much, let me see, we're gonna do it like this. Okay, so I'm gonna separate this with commas first, so we're gonna have 3. Okay, so let me just double check, and we're gonna put a semicolon after the parentheses, after the closing brackets, after the closing parentheses. So now inside of the double quotes we are gonna have in the, okay, so we're gonna have in the audio slash, and it's gonna be this one, so we can have it as well, it's gonna be bounce, so it's gonna be bounce that mp3. okay, so we're gonna have the, or just the OG, doesn't matter the order, but let's just keep it consistent with this. So audio slash bounce that g. Okay, so what I can do is just pretty much copy this one and paste it here and paste it here, and the only thing that we are gonna be changing is gonna be the extension. So this one is gonna be mp3, and this one is gonna be m4a. So let me see, let me double check. So audio slash bounce that m4a, we separate this with a comma. Okay, that's fine, and yeah, that's fine. That's all that we have so far up to this point. Again, if you go here, nothing is changing because we still need to populate a bunch of JavaScript files, like more importantly game, then the how to main menu. Okay, so right now we are in the Preloader.js, so let's keep working on it. Okay, so after the the curly brace. So after the curly brace, let me see, we are gonna have this create function. Okay, so and this is gonna be inside of the, let me see, the prototype. So let me see where the prototype, let's close this one, and let me see, preload, the preload ends right here. And okay, so let me see if this one goes here. Okay, so after this curly brace here, I'm gonna just pretty much so it has to be outside of the preload. Okay, so we're gonna put a comma here outside of the curly brace of the preload. Okay, so this is the preload function. This is the initial or the open curly brace. This is the closing curly brace of the preload. I already put a comma, and now I'm gonna have a function that is gonna be named create, like that. So we have the function the preload, and now we're gonna have the function create. And inside of this, let's close this one and this one as well. Okay, so we have now the create function and the preload function. So let's populate the create function, and we are just gonna pass in pretty much this that game, that is state, that is start, that is game, that is state, that start, like that. And now we're gonna pass inside double quotes the main menu. So it's gonna be the main menu, like that, semicolon at the end. Okay, so we have the create. So we have this, that game, that state, that start, and we're passing the main menu. So we're passing this JavaScript sense, but again we have nothing yet here, but we are still passing it. Okay, and yeah, we're gonna separate this one with a comma in case we need to add more functions. So let's keep it like that. And finally, we're gonna put a semicolon at the end of this function. Okay, let's keep it like that. And what else we have here? So let me see, we have this one. Okay, so pretty much we are done with the Preloader.js. So we have the bold preloaded and then the function preload. Okay, so we are fine here. Again, nothing is happening yet, but let's keep moving. So okay, so now let me see, there are single images, sprite sheets, and audio files loaded by the framework. So when they say that, they're talking about this one that we just pretty much loaded. So we just loaded these images, the sprite sheet, and also the audio. Okay, in this state, the preload bar is showing the progress on the screen. The progress of the loaded asset is visualized by the framework with the use of one image. With every asset loaded, you can see more of the preload bar image from 1% to 0% to 100%, updated on every frame. After all the assets are loaded, the main menu state is launched. Okay, so after the whole thing is done, we are gonna launch the main menu. Again, we have nothing in the main menu yet, and this is pretty much okay. So this is what we are gonna be working with right now. So the main menu.js. The main menu state shows the main menu of the game, where you can start playing by clicking the button, as I show you in my other folder that I had the completed game already with the whole code. Now let's start populating the main menu.js. So as you can see, we are gonna have something similar. I got confused, and the preloader is gonna be similar. It's gonna be similar to the main menu. So for example, we're gonna start with bold that. Oops, nice, not gonna be like that. And this one, and the preloader, we started with bold that preloader, set it to a function. So we're gonna do the same with the with the menu. So it's gonna be bold.